You're sitting at your kitchen table on a Tuesday night, laptop open, finally forcing yourself to log in. You haven't checked the balance in 8 months. You've been afraid to look. The number loads, and your stomach drops. You've been paying for 10 years. Somehow, you owe more than when you started. Let me introduce you to Marcus. He's 34. He borrowed $40,000 to finish his degree. Good school, good grades, did everything right. He's made 120 payments over 10 years. That's $36,000 out of his pocket. His current balance, $52,000. After a decade of payments, Marcus owes $12,000 more than when he graduated. This isn't a mistake on his account. It's how the system was designed. There are 3 traps built into student loans that keep your balance growing even while you pay. And once you see them, you'll understand why 43 million Americans owe $1.7 trillion and why that number keeps climbing. Here's what they told you. College is an investment in yourself. Take out loans now, earn more later. The debt pays for itself because graduates earn $1 million more over their lifetime. It's good debt. That was the pitch. Here's what the math actually shows. The average borrower takes 20 years to pay off student loans. Many never do. Student loan debt has grown faster than wages, faster than inflation, faster than any other category of consumer debt in America. And unlike every other kind of debt, mortgages, car loans, credit cards, student loans can't be discharged in bankruptcy. You can lose your house and walk away from the mortgage. You can't walk away from student loans. Made sure of that. The system was designed with no exit. And you weren't broken or irresponsible for ending up here. You were handed a complex financial product at 18 with no instruction manual and told it was the only path to a good life. Let me show you who profits when you struggle to pay. Loan servicers. Companies like Nelnet, Mohela, and AidVantage manage your account, collect your payments, and are supposed to help you find the best repayment option. They handle tens of millions of borrowers. But here's the incentive problem. Servicers get paid per account, not per successful payoff. They have no financial reason to help you pay faster. The longer you're in repayment, the longer they collect fees. Multiple investigations found servicers steering borrowers toward forbearance instead of income-driven repayment because forbearance is easier to process, even though it causes interest to capitalize and balances to explode. The Department of Education. They're supposed to oversee this system, but the Government Accountability Office found the department failed to hold servicers accountable, failed to process public service loan forgiveness applications correctly, and failed to track whether repayment plans were actually working. For years, the PSLF program rejected over 98% of applicants, not because they didn't qualify, because of administrative errors, miscounted payments, and servicer mistakes. People worked in public service for a decade, made payments the entire time, and were told they didn't qualify. For-profit colleges. Schools like ITT Tech and Corinthian colleges recruited aggressively, loaded students with debt, and provided degrees that employers didn't value. When these schools collapsed, students were left with debt and no credential. The government approved billions in forgiveness for defrauded students. But the fact that forgiveness was necessary proves the system failed to protect you in the first place. But here's what Marcus didn't understand until he did the math himself. Even making every payment on time, the structure of his loan caused his balance to grow. The payment plan that was supposed to make his debt affordable was actually designed to keep him in debt for decades. Once you see how these 3 traps work together, you'll understand why your payments feel like they're going nowhere. Here's how the student loan system keeps you trapped. Trap 1. Interest capitalization. Let's use Marcus's numbers. He borrowed $40,000 at 6% interest. While he was in school and during his grace period, interest kept accruing. about $2,400 per year. By the time he started paying, 4 years of accrued interest, roughly $10,000, got added to his principal. That's called capitalization. Now his balance isn't $40,000, it's $50,000, and future interest is calculated on $50,000, not $40,000. The debt grew before he made a single payment, and every time he paused, for grad school, for hardship, for any reason, it grew again. Trap 2. Income-driven repayment math. IDR plans sound borrower-friendly. Pay a percentage of your discretionary income, get forgiveness after 20 or 25 years. But let's do Marcus's math. He owes $50,000 at 6%. That's $3,000 per year in interest, $250 per month. His income-driven payment? $150. $150 going out, $250 in interest accruing. He's falling behind by $100 every single month. After 1 year, he owes $1,200 more than when he started, even though he never missed a payment. Multiply that by 10 years. His balance grew by $12,000 while he was actively paying. The payment was affordable. It just wasn't reducing his debt. Trap 3. Servicer steering. Remember, servicers are incentivized to process accounts quickly, not correctly. Investigations found them pushing borrowers toward forbearance because it's faster than enrolling someone in income-driven repayment. Forbearance means no payments for a while. Sounds like help, but interest keeps accruing and capitalizing. Borrowers thought they were getting relief. They were actually getting trapped deeper. The PSLF disaster was the clearest example. Servicers miscounted payments, didn't track qualifying employment, and gave borrowers wrong information. The Department of Education has since approved over 800,000 borrowers for PSLF relief, but only after executive action forced them to fix years of failures. Let me show you the scale. Americans owe approximately $1.7 trillion in student debt. That's the second largest category of consumer debt after mortgages. Larger than credit cards, larger than auto loans. 43 million borrowers, average balance around $37,000. Millions owe over $100,000. A GAO study found that most borrowers in income-driven repayment plans saw their balances grow, not shrink. The program designed to help was making things worse for millions of people. The repayment pause during COVID showed what's possible. Interest was frozen, payments suspended. For 3 years, balances didn't grow. When payments restarted in 2023, the system immediately resumed extracting. And here's the number that should make you angry. Before reforms, PSLF rejected 98% of applicants. Teachers, nurses, social workers who served their communities for a decade, rejected because of paperwork errors and servicer incompetence. Here's where this is heading. The SAVE plan, the newest income-driven option, reduces payments and eliminates some interest capitalization. It's the most borrower-friendly plan ever created, but it's facing legal challenges, and a future administration could eliminate it. Broad forgiveness has been blocked by the courts. The Supreme Court rejected the plan to cancel up to $20,000 per borrower. Targeted forgiveness continues for specific groups, but sweeping relief isn't happening. The fundamental structure remains. Tuition keeps rising, students keep borrowing, interest keeps accruing, servicers keep getting paid, whether you succeed or fail. The debt follows you everywhere. It can garnish your wages, seize your tax refunds, and reduce your Social Security in retirement. Congress made sure there's almost no escape. Here's how to fight back. First, know exactly what you owe and to whom. Log into studentaid.gov. Face the number. You can't fix what you refuse to look at. Second, run the numbers on every repayment plan. The loan simulator shows you total cost over time. Sometimes paying more now saves tens of thousands later. Sometimes IDR leading to forgiveness is better. The math depends on your situation. Third, never choose forbearance if income-driven repayment is available. Forbearance lets interest capitalize. IDR payments can be as low as $0 if your income qualifies, and they count toward forgiveness. Fourth, if you work in public service, document everything yourself. Don't trust your servicer to count correctly. Verify your employment certification annually. Use the PSLF help tool to track your progress. Fifth, watch for administrative forgiveness. The Department of Education periodically reviews accounts and grants automatic forgiveness to borrowers who've been in repayment long enough. Keep your contact information current. There's a version of you at 65 who will live with the results of what you do in this season of your life. That future you will either have options and breathing room, or will still be making payments on a degree you earned 40 years ago. You didn't end up here because you failed. You ended up here because you were handed a system designed to extract, not educate. You trusted institutions that didn't earn that trust. Now you see how it works. The question is whether you keep feeding a system that was never built to let you win, or build your own path out. This is Hidden Economics. Subscribe for more on how systems extract money while you're not looking. They told you student loans were an investment in yourself. The investment was never in you.